Yo, no rap. Green Bay faithful, talking with me on a chase to a Super Bowl. Fans still suck, let me let you know. We're the kids, bringing trophies home. Cheeseheads, me living this. Victory tastes sweeter than licorice. Got that Lamborghini spirit. Opponents just fear it. Y'all can hear it now.
What is up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Matt Ramage Show, and we have a great guest today. We have Ben, known as the Green Bay guy over on social media land. But before we get into talking to Ben, big shout out to Quick Trip sponsoring the show. Quick Trip, they got a lot of good stuff going on this summer. They're giving away money like every week. If you follow them on social media, they're just shelling out money, like 10 grand. Like they have all this stuff. So make sure that you're using that Quick Rewards app. Check in on it and find out all the ways that you can get free stuff. You can, like, I get free chocolate milk. I haven't paid for chocolate milk in years. That's only way I use my rewards, because the chocolate milk is it's the best chocolate milk in the land. And also, Nick Law, also a sponsor of the Green Bay guy over here. Nick Law, if you get injured in an accident, you want the best lawyers in all the land. You want someone who you can relate to, real people from Wisconsin. Not uppity people, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need uppity people, but not in this case. We got Russell Nicolay and his whole crew over there going to take care of you if you get injured in an accident. You know, missing work and whatnot, you're missing checks, going to need that money. And Nicolay Law is going to make sure that you get what you do. But what is up, Ben? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Brown cap or green cap?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm kind of colorblind. I think it's a darker one I usually do.
So like the whole fat. You're not.
Yeah. I want every piece of the fat.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm the same way. If I'm getting chocolate milk, it's definitely the I'm taking all the calories and all the fat for sure.
Yeah, and if you like see some of my comments I get, they know.
Didn't even have to ask.
They know. But also, before we get into this, be sure that you're subscribed on YouTube. If you're listening to a podcast, you're watching on Facebook or whatever you're doing, maybe you're watching on YouTube, but you're not subscribed. Check it out. Make sure you're subscribed. But and I do want to talk before I forget about WBAY. You know, I did that video for they're doing a cereal drive.
Yeah.
So I want to mention that. You could, if you pick up some cereal from whatever grocery place that you want to be at, and you can bring it to WBAY downtown Green Bay, and also Fox Community Credit Union. Dude, that jingle
that killed me during the video when you did yours, and I was like, that's chef's kiss. That's perfect.
Dude, I didn't even plan on it either. That song, I don't know. I don't listen to the radio. And I know that that's where a lot of their commercials are at, but like I have obviously in the past that's been a thing forever.
Yeah.
But they have those credit unions everywhere, so you can drop it off. That's where I went, and you can even Uber Eats, because like I was talking to them and they're like, yeah, someone Uber Eated them like a bunch of cereal.
Paid like $45 delivery fee for cereal.
Yeah, but if you're not in Green Bay, you want to help out the community. Check it out and go to WBAY.com. You can find out all the information on that. But I want to give a shout out to them because I think that's a cool thing they're doing. It helps kids in the summer who maybe don't have meals at home, and help them out a little bit, and also the elderly.
Yeah.
But
who doesn't love cereal too, man? I mean, that's like the easy go-to for anything. Like, I need a snack. All right, I'm having a bowl of cereal because it's here. So yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I do enjoy some cereal, unless I'm drinking. You don't want to mix that milk.
That's a weird mix.
Yeah, it is. But big shout out to everyone who's tapping in. Beardsconsin. And also I want to give a shout out, Fridge Break Time. I went and hung out with those guys over there.
Those guys are cool.
And that podcast, I'm not sure when it's gonna drop, but I don't remember what I said on that thing.
I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready to watch you guys talk. I love, and I'm sorry I don't know Beardsconsin's first name, but I love watching Colton Clay and Beardsconsin. I love watching them in their studio, because they always do a theme for every episode, and it kills me how they're always on point. And they all look so damn cool in their studio. Like the lighting in there is perfect, and like they're wearing sunglasses. They are what I aspire to be in coolness. Dude, I'll never be there, but they're what I aspire to be.
I'm telling you, when I saw their studio, they have such a cool studio. I don't want to give away all their secrets, but they have a lot of cool stuff over there. And I had a blast, dude. It was just I wish, dude, like they have like a Pat McAfee type studio.
I know that thing looks more official than some people who are making very good money doing it. Like
Yeah.
people who that's their job doing it, their studio looks better than that. They are
Yeah,
killing
it
it over
does.
there.
Yeah, and they're awesome guys, like you said,
Yeah.
Beard Sconson, known on social media. He's such a nice guy, dude. Those guys are so cool. That I had so much fun. I don't really like doing like other people's podcasts sometimes because I feel like you have no control if you say something stupid or
Yeah. Is
whatever.
that why you keep saying no to mine?
Yeah, like in person ones are just weird for me. But
Yeah.
that one was fun because we just drank. Then after.
Nothing bad's ever happened to that. Oh,
You know what I
funny.
mean? So shout out to them. Be sure you check out Fridge Break Time. They're the podcast everywhere they listen to podcasts, YouTube, I'm sure, in all the places. What's up, Tracy? Hope all is well. All is well. I'm off tomorrow, so we're having a good time tonight.
Oh man.
Talking to Ben over here. Beer and Wheaties, Rick. That's how you got to get it going on. You know what I mean? The lighting is beautiful. Yeah, they have such a professional. They have so many cameras everywhere, lights everywhere. Like they have all this stuff. Like in here, I'm on a laptop, got a couple ring lights, not not too fancy, but that's all we need. But I saw a comment over here. Good vibes to Jair. So let's talk about Jair a little bit. We're gonna jump right into this thing because people want the Packers content, Ben. You know what I mean? What's up, Stacey? How you doing?
Stacey.
And but so what were your initial thoughts? What are you thinking? Jair Alexander's gone. Are you hyperventilating like a lot of folks are, or what are you thinking?
I mean, I think I stopped hyperventilating about the Packers a long time ago, just because ultimately at the end of the day, no matter what I think, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to stress myself over something I don't have control over. I will say I thought it was odd the timing of them cutting him, right? Like I think much like everyone else is like, why are we doing it now? Why wouldn't you have done it earlier in the year? I know they're talking about how they like the post June 1st cut, but I think we're eating all of the cap right up front. So I don't know that necessarily matters. So I just, much like everyone else, I'm like, well, the head scratcher for me is like, what transpired that we did it right then and there? Because it sounded like we were working towards something to have them there. But I'm guessing the relationship at that point kind of just deteriorated between the Packers and Jair. And that's fine. That's how life goes. I've had that with employers of mine where I was out of there no matter what they were doing, So, and I was happy that he signed with the Ravens because really we will play them right around Christmas time. But unless we see him in the Super Bowl, it's not going to make that much of a difference. So better than having him go to like the Lions or Vikings or Bears or something where you got to play.
Oh my,
yeah, right. Or you got to play him a couple times, a year, and then that's kind of a little bit more annoying. So go to the AFC, don't have to deal with it, and just he's there with Lamar, who's a friend of his, and fresh start for him. And I wish him nothing but the best. He's always a super nice dude. So.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites just because his swagger, like his energy, he was always fun. I get why they did it. I think it was the right decision by the Packers too, and I think it was the right decision by Jair because like everyone's talking about, like his dad was on Twitter, going off and saying the Packers basically wanted to play for free. How it sounds to me is like the Packers offered him a similar contract, like $4 million, but no guarantees. All incentive based, which is kind of a weird thing. I don't think they wanted him to take it. I really don't. I don't think. Yeah. Or they were like, if he does take it, it's awesome because he's a good player. But with him not being on the field, has them worried.
That's just it,
Yeah,
but then tough.
They want to guarantee money, and players want guaranteed money, obviously, because then if he gets hurt, which isn't crazy talk, then he basically can make no money. I think next year. Mm-hmm. So now. The Ravens gave him $4 million guarantee with another $2 million. You can get to $6 million with incentives. I called it. I said that he's going to the Ravens, and not because I'm so smart. Everyone's seen the video. Smart. Yeah, I'm very rarely right. Yeah. But him and Lamar are friends. Everyone saw the video when Lamar got drafted. Obviously the same draft as Jair. He got drafted later on, and he was in the green room or whatever, and he was like pumped up. Like they love each other. Like that's true friendship. And so like. it just made sense that he would go there. And I don't think he wanted, like, I don't think he would have went to the Vikings. People were talking about the Vikings. I don't think him and Justin Jefferson, that's not like a rival. I feel like that's real not like, maybe not hate, but that's real not liking each other.
Yeah.
It seems like it anyways. I haven't asked either of them. But it seems like they wouldn't maybe want to hang out. Like they, with all like the, against each other and playing against each other, and kind of like, Jair did that little gritty thing, and it seems like it might be more than just rivalry stuff. Not like they, like I say, I don't think they hate each other, but I think they'd rather keep their distance or whatever. But I don't blame Jair for wanting to go, because everyone's like, he wanted out of Green Bay. I think both of them, like you said, I just think it was time for them to have a separation. And like for his dad talking, like people were talking on Twitter, like I would never ever, like I would say this 100 times, I would never ever argue or even talk to a player's family member about the player. To me, it's just silly. Yeah, like his dad, like Christian Watson's parents are on there defending him a lot, and people are like, arguing with him, like, dude, dude. First of all, if someone started tweeting at me about my son, like I'm gonna have a severe problem with that. Like I get it that their athletes are in the spotlight and all that, so that comes with it, but most parents don't go on Twitter and like argue with it, but they choose to, and that's their right. But I would never get engaged with that. Like, good luck, best of luck, because that's their family.
Well, and I don't know what anyone's looking to gain out of that. It's never like the parent's going to side with the fan that's upset and be like, yeah, my kid's a bust. He's terrible. Like, the parent's always going to support their child, and that's expected. I don't know. That's the weird part about the internet sometimes, is we're just yelling in air just for no reason.
That's what I'm gonna get this comment from Glenn. I know him. Very positive fella. According to Dad, he said would have played in Green Bay for contract he got from Ravens. I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I mean, and I'm not gonna say his dad's a liar, but I just feel like after the fact, if his dad said, I didn't look at what his dad said. I saw people on Twitter going after him and talking to him or whatever, but I think he gave the Ravens that deal, right? Because he was a free agent. I think, and I saw someone else say this. I think he felt like the Packers kind of owed him something. Not owed him something, but like, you're on the team.
Yeah.
I think he wanted not like a crazy deal, but I think he wanted guarantee, first of all. And they just weren't going to do it. They already paid him, I think, that they saw, and he was on the field. And it's not like even bashing him, saying he was on the field. People get hurt. It's a tough game. But there was some stuff going on inside the locker room. I don't think it was with the players. The players all seem to love him. Jordan Love, everyone is talking about him and saying great things. I know everyone says, well, what else are they going to say? Well, they don't have to. When people always say that, whenever a player is like, oh, I love this guy, and this guy, whatever, he's my friend, or this and that. And then they're like, well, what else are they going to say? Well, they could just minimize it. They could just be like, yeah, he's my teammate. I support him. You don't have to gush about him and say,
right,
he's fantastic. He's the greatest thing in the world. Like, they're all friends. I mean, I don't think the players have any type of problem. I don't think the coaches or the GM did either.
No,
I just think he was on the field. It's not personal. It's business. Well, we're paying you a lot of money, and when you're not playing, the money could be used somewhere else.
I've taken other jobs to be paid similar amounts of money just because I wanted something different. I wanted to take a different route in my career. He might see the Ravens as being really competitive right now, and the bonus of playing with his really good friend.
Yeah.
You get a job working with your really good friend, making similar amounts of money that you could be making elsewhere, but you're maybe in an environment that you enjoy more because it's around people or know differently. They go way back to their college days. That might just be a bigger appeal to him. Maybe he likes Maryland. Maybe he's like, hey, this is a new scenery, something else to do in my career. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily blame him. Everyone's got a.
Yeah, and the Ravens are a good team. They got Lamar Jackson. I mean, obviously they're friends, but like, he's a good quarterback. They're a playoff team, and maybe this is the year they push over the edge. So
and they have a strong defense too. So
they do, and they're known for that.
Yeah,
they're known for that. I want to get to a few comments here. Kurt says, I would love for Ja to play, but injuries are the unknown. Goody would rather get rid of players early than before it's too late. And that's a true fact right there. If you're not even just Goody, but the Packers historically, that's kind of what they do. They get rid of people maybe a little bit too sooner than I don't think this was too soon because I feel like this is the right time.
Well,
for,
especially at the money that the Ravens are paying him. I mean, I feel like that's not a lot of money by any means, but if you have a track record of not staying on the field, like he's had issues with the last couple of years, and and defensive back, especially corner, is a hard position to stay on the field for. You're backpedaling and you're making sharp cuts constantly. I mean, soft tissue injuries are going to be a thing in that position. So that's a tough position to stay healthy in. But historically, the last couple of years, it hasn't went his way. And so you see that money and you're like, well, we could spend that on someone else maybe. But the Ravens are smart for taking that risk on him because it could pay off well for him.
Yeah, because and that thing too, I see all the comments, people are like, oh, he'll only play 5 games anyways, isn't that? Like, dude, I'm going to, like, one of my bold takes, I'm starting to do this series where I do, like, bold take lead up to the season. Not like I don't do it every year. But I think that he's going to play. I think he misses 2 games this year, tops. I think that he's going to be healthy because that's what happens with the Packers. They get rid of a guy, whether it's for injury or whether it's for something else, and they ball. You know, not always. Sometimes they don't. But I think Jair is good. I think he's a good corner. Hopefully he's over the injuries. I want him to play. I hope he balls out. But I just think he will. I don't know. Some people are just negative, or maybe they're just kind of bitter that he's gone. Because that's how Packer fans are. Not all Packer fans.
Yeah,
I love
there's
Packer
definitely
fans.
a lot of them.
But it's like they're like, I love this guy. This guy's awesome. And then they trade him, or he like gets released. Like, it sucks anyways. I don't even like him. I don't know why he was ever on a team.
And then in like 3 years, fans won't shut up about how the Packers got rid of him and how he's playing so well. And that could be, like Casey Hayward. I love Casey Hayward. I still a big Casey Hayward fan. He struggled to stay on the field as a Packer. He was getting injured. They didn't re-sign him. Then he goes and plays really well with the Chargers, and everyone's like, see, the Packers always let him go, and they go and ball out. And it's like, well, hindsight's everything. So we'll see.
Dude, that's the thing. Like with Jair Alexander last year when he wasn't playing, all the comments, anytime I mention Jair Alexander, everyone's like, cut him, get rid of this guy.
Right?
He's always hurt. He's not playing. Cut him. Packers release him. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
How do you release our best corner? Now we have no corners.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're never going to be good ever again. And like the thing is like he wasn't playing last year. So like not much or whatever. So the guys we have, and then they added Hobbs. So yeah. I think technically our secondary is kind of better. Obviously, if Jair was on the team, it'd be way better. But like that wasn't going to happen. And like the reporters were saying it the whole offseason, Jair is not playing for the Packers this year.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't sure what to think of it because I trust the reporters, especially if everyone's saying it. Obviously, they're hearing it for something. Like they're not in the locker room, but they hear stuff. They have sources and whatnot.
Yep.
And then at the end, they're like, "Oh no, it might happen. He might be back because they're trying to restructure this thing." And I think they lowballed him a little bit, and he was just like, "Nah." So then, that all makes me think that they were right. Yeah. Everyone reporting that, like, which happens sometimes. Everyone's like, the reporters don't know nothing, and they're right. They're like, well, whatever.
Well, and football season's still like 2 months away, man. There's a lot of stuff that can happen between then and now. There's free agents out there. Rasul Douglas, the Packers know him.
Yeah.
Could that be a thing that he comes back? You have other guys that will get cut inevitably during training camp and preseason trim downs.
Yeah.
You're going to have guys that get released or guys that open up or whatever on a roster that maybe the Packers kick the tires on and see what happens.
Yeah, that very well could happen. And they're good at finding those diamonds in the rough. They did that with Rasul Douglas.
Yeah.
And, Campbell ended differently. But, like, he had a really good year.
Season.
Yeah. So if they could find a guy, and I think everyone just needs to step up. And I think when you lose a guy, like even when the Packers lost Devontae Adams, that was a little bit different because we had a bunch of young wide receivers. But like when you lose the guy, like Jair is the guy at corner, everyone else like, all right, this is my time to shine. We all have to step up a little bit. And I don't even think it's about secondary; it's about the pass rush.
Yep,
that's
the biggest thing.
Yeah. So let's get this comment by Phil, and then we'll kind of move on and acting like we're analysts or whatnot. What's up, Philly boy? He says Alexander is last year's Stokes. See ya. We move on, and thank you for your service. By the way, Douglas said we have Bo Melton. Yeah. I was actually gonna say it because Rasul Douglas on Twitter, someone said something about coming back or whatever, and he goes, they got Bo Melton. And I think that was kind of like saying like he didn't agree with the move. But like I don't think that move was an option. I think it just both sides just they were like, we're not going to pay you that much because the injury situation.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm not going to play for that little. And then, well, all right, whatever. We got to move, keep her moving, and that's what it is. But like, dude, I don't know. All love to him. I'm sure he'll do good. But all right, so let's talk about that. And everyone, hammer the comment section because this makes a lot more fun when you guys are chipping in. Then I don't have to talk to Ben as much. But pass rush. What do you expect from the pass rush this year? Because last year they just couldn't be consistent with it. I felt like last year, if my memory is working right, it's like they had it, like pass rush was on fire, or it was nothing.
Yeah,
like, I wouldn't say on fire, but like they had a pass rush, or they had zero pass rush. It was never like there were some games that it was just like almost like watching practice. Like it was bad. And people always say, Matt never says nothing bad about the Packers. Even though last year I was screaming the whole time. Like, if you don't have a pass rush, I don't care what team you're on. Like, you're dead. You're not going to beat good teams. You've seen what happened in the Super Bowl. If you can get at the quarterback consistently and he doesn't have time to make his reads and he's dancing around, and even when you don't get there, now he's scared because, the pass rush is so important to have. But what are your expectations this year? Let's homer it up a little bit, Ben.
I mean, I'm kind of.
I'll give you the full screen right here too, Ben. This is you.
Lucky me. Look at this space. I'm always kind of like the optimist. I think with that, I really think that maybe year 2.5 Lee's defense, we start seeing some stuff kind of pieced together a little bit better. Whether it's better blitzes or just being putting guys in their right spot. I'm hoping we see more out of Kenny. Kenny obviously had a very down year last year. I really think a lot of it starts with that interior pass rush. So when we lose that interior pass rush, then it makes life a whole lot difficult everywhere else. I think it's gonna grow. I don't know. I think LVN takes that step this year. And maybe that's just me being optimistic. I know a lot of people are already out on him, but I think playing with that broken thumb's difficult to shed a block with a broken thumb. And I'm hoping, and I still have faith that LVN's going to come out swinging this year and really provide some strong pass rush on that side.
Yeah, I think LVN, a lot of people are out on him. I see a lot of people talk, but I think this is a year that, like, I wouldn't say like, make or break kind of thing. Like, this is his time. Like, it's now. Now's the time.
I'm still full screen, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I feel self-conscious.
That's why I don't like doing that, because I always forget. I need a producer, someone who apply within. It pays.
Yeah, apply within.
But I think it's his time to shine, though. I think if it doesn't happen this year, I don't know. Like, they're gonna obviously some things are gonna have to happen, but they definitely have to figure out the pass rush. They have to, whether it's if you're not gonna bring it, because everyone's talking about these big names, bringing this guy. Like, some guys are like TJ Watt, like, they're on a team, they're not trading them. Like, they're not gonna make some blockbuster trade for someone. If it's not different people, then figure it out, like scheme and try to. Figure it out. But like, I don't know. I'm not like no coach or whatever.
Right.
But figure it out. They need a pass rush. But I want to get to this comment up here because I think it was funny. Chris Hurley says, this just said Matt Ramage is rumored to replace Jair, veteran ball hawk, visual spiritually, and supportive team player. There you go.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy, Chris.
My hand-eye coordination, though, isn't very good. I
don't know, man. I think we need to throw some stuff at you and see how it sticks. Kind of like Dodgeball, the movie, right? We'll just throw a wrench at you and throw some other things and see what happens.
I can't catch. Like, I remember one time
you don't need to catch, dude. That's why you play defense. All you got to do is
I know, but if you're a corner, you got to catch. I'm getting interceptions, baby.
Well, most defensive players are playing defense for a reason. So even if you're just breaking stuff up.
If I'm gonna be a corner, I'm getting a pick six. I didn't come here for just to knock passes down. You know what I mean? I want to pick six. But my hand-eye coordination is very good. Like, I remember helping my son back in the day when they were doing baseball practice, and all I had to do is like the coach would like knock them, grounders and pop, all that, and then the kids would have to throw it to where they're supposed to throw it, and then at the end they would throw it to me, which I was basically the catcher. Then I'd hand it to the coach, and the coach would hit it again. Dude, one of those balls came in, dude, and this was a kid threw this ball. This is like 8th grade, but he ended up getting a scholarship. So I'm telling you, this isn't a regular kid. You know what I mean?
This is like me throwing it.
Yeah. So he slung this thing, and it went right over the glove, hit me in the chest. I'm rolling around the ground fighting for life. I'm like, everyone's laughing except for my son. He's just got his hands on his face like, oh man, this is embarrassing. But yeah, I'm just not good at sports. That's why I talk about it. I don't act about it. But I don't know where we were going with that, but yeah, let me get to some more comments.
Well, I think where we're going with that is that you are going to be playing corner this year.
Oh yeah, I'm playing corner for the
Packers. I think what's more concerning, you're talking about your hand-eye coordination. I've seen your video of you running routes. I don't think the 40 exists for you. I think that's more concerning than your hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, I'm not, dude. Yeah, dude. I ran the 40 over at Titletown one time. I don't know what my number. What's funny? Because I made that video this a couple years ago where I'm at Titletown and I'm running the 40. And I was telling I think it was Eric was recording. And I was like, right at the end, I'm going to fall. And it'll be a funny video or whatever. I was just going to like, first we ran the real 40. Then I was like, let's make another one and I'll fall down. And then as I was running, there was like a group of people like at the end watching me. And then I looked down and like this ground, that's not regular ground. That's not grass. That's like some asphalt. That's like some, I won't recover from this fall. And then by doing all that thinking, I almost fell. And the people were watching, they were like, this is embarrassing. It was like a 8-second 40 or something. I don't know what it was.
I'm not good at mine either. For the record, those aren't regulation times, because you got to wait for it to start. And then you start. So you're already losing. You're already losing.
Yeah.
All your.
I probably lost 6 seconds on it.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking. At least
I probably ran like a 4.2 or something. I don't know what it was, but it's probably, now that we're thinking about it. All right, so let's get to some more comments over here. Russell says, while we are talking about defense, what do you guys think about Simmons and Nate coming in? What do you think, Ben? We'll start off with the smart person.
I don't know why.
You're an analyst now.
I am not. If you're saying smart person, I'm waiting for someone else to join. I really like Simmons. I like the ability that he can kind of play that versatile role. We talked about the Campbell pick or the Campbell signing years back and how it turned into an all-pro. Maybe this is the scheme that Simmons really flourishes under, and maybe that's the guy that you see that comes in and makes a good impact. I like that he can play a versatile role in that. And then Hobbs had so much great stuff to say about Rich, and how he was like a father figure to him when he was with the Raiders, and how he can't wait to be back playing on a team where he's part of again. Really, both of those guys could find themselves in a good role to produce and help out the defense in a lot of ways that I'm really excited about. I don't know. Should be, I'm always bad at these because I'm always just like, why don't you ask me again in like 4 months when we actually know what's going on? But it's
June is a special time of year. Like doing
because it's my birthday coming up. That's why, right?
Yeah, I knew that.
I know you did.
When is your birthday?
It is next Thursday, the 26th.
Next Thursday?
Yeah.
So we got to have everyone hammer away at Ben's social media.
No, we don't. It's fine. Yeah,
No,
I'm gonna be taking the day off of work and just relaxing. So I'm excited about it.
That's good. What are you turning, like 28?
Yeah, 28.
But oh yeah, all right. So I don't know. Like I agree with you. Like I really don't know. I think this year, like anyone could pop off. Like, because I think everyone knows that. Like we all have to step up. I think some guys are going to surprise you. Some guys might not perform as well as people think. But I know that that's kind of a lazy take, but that's what I am. If you guys work with me, you would know how lazy I am. But I'm
really excited about Edrin Cooper. I mean,
yeah, right here.
Like, seeing him another year is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really.
That's what Philly
old,
Boy said.
old Philly
The
Boy
same
says.
thing. He said,
Yeah.
excited for another Cooper year. He's got to earn that jersey for me to purchase. Dude, don't buy his jersey. They're going to cut him. That's kind of how it goes. Not really. But yeah, I'm jacked about Cooper.
I mean, that's my favorite player on the current team is
Oh, that's one
Cooper.
of my questions I was going to ask you. Well, you just ruined that. Thanks a lot.
That. Sorry.
Now this podcast will end 10 minutes sooner.
I do have a question for you. It's not Packers related, but it'll probably get you off in the tangent. Maybe not in a tangent, but back in the day, did you ever work like in the food industry or anything like that?
Yeah, I worked at a lot of restaurants.
So okay, when you work in a food industry, did you get like free food at these places?
No, but I took it.
Okay. Well,
I mean, sometimes you do, but
yeah. So I worked at Arby's for a long time, and I got free food because I was in management. And I was asking my wife because I asked, I asked my wife very important questions. Out of all of the fast food places, and we're not talking like sit down restaurants, strictly fast food. What is the best fast food place to work at to get free food? Because when you're working there, you can always make your own special items, right? So what is if you work at any fast food place for the free food, what choice are you going with?
I would go Hardee's, and I'd work the morning shift because that Frisco breakfast sandwich.
Dude, but you're gonna get burnt out on one sandwich after a while.
No.
You really need to open. But I do think Hardee's is a good choice because they have like ham, they have burgers, they have deep fried stuff like chicken. You have a lot of versatility there where you can get.
I've never ate there after 10:30 in the morning. I don't think I've ever eaten Hardee's lunch.
Well, maybe it's not a good. Maybe
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I've never.
Because I just think when you work someplace long enough, you just start making the most outlandish stuff because you're just bored.
I used to work at Bay Family Restaurant, not the one on the west side by Lambeau area. There was one on the east side, and it turned into like Hardware Cafe at some point because it was next to a hardware store. And then it went out of business because when you're getting breakfast, you're like, "Hey, let's go to the hardware."
You're not going to the Hardware Cafe. That's a wild.
That's a stupid name for a restaurant. But when I worked there, I'd always make like grilled cheese. And the thing with grilled cheese, like you can just put anything on it. So you got the marinara sauce, you can dip it in there. I used to make some wild grilled cheese sandwiches.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I have items at Arby's that were some of my favorite items that I can never have again because I don't work there and I can't make them. I was
just walk in. Like I used to work here. Well, yeah, the one way over the far away.
I still have like nightmares of working there. Like I'll have dreams where I'm working there and it's like it's a nightmare. But in those dreams, every single time I go, hey, I can make the sandwich I want to make because I can't make it anywhere else. I can't explain my terrible orders to anyone.
Yeah, you can be like, just like something you invented back in 04.
It is too, man. Taco Bell. Yeah, Taco Bell's a good choice. There's
I only eat chili cheese burritos from Taco Bell. You know what? And I Taco Bell, you order a chili cheese burrito and a bean burrito. They look almost the same. And if you're ordering a chili cheese burrito, chances are you hate a bean burrito. I don't like bean. Like I've puked a few times in my life actually eating a bean burrito. I don't like beans. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Dude, you're missing out. Bean burritos are solid.
Chili cheese burritos where it's at. Like my wife, I'll be at Taco Bell. I'm like, all right, give me a couple of chili cheese burritos. She's like, I'll have a bean burrito. I'm like, dude, pick something else.
Dude, their bean burritos are
just make
solid.
the wrappers different. Make the wrappers different is all I'm saying. And like way different. I think they might be a little bit different. I don't know. I can't tell you.
You just got to read them, man.
No, they say everything on it because they're getting
cheap. but it's how it's folded. So the wrappers they're a square, and each triangle of the wrapper has a different thing. So they put them on there and they wrap it up, and whatever's facing up is what it is.
See, now I learned this stuff.
Yeah, that's how it was at Arby's, man.
I didn't know that. I never really worked fast food. I worked Hardee's for like 3 hours one time.
just enough time to get your Fresno breakfast.
Frisco.
Sorry.
No, they shut down. That's when Hardee's like shut a bunch of places down all at once back in like when you were in high school. But actually before that, you were probably like in middle school because I was just whatever. I don't know how old I was. But I went back the next day and they're like, there's U-Hauls there and the manager's like crying and she's like, I'm really sorry. We all lost our jobs. but we can get you in at this other one. I'm like, nah, that's fine. I was like, I was only here because like a block from my house.
I thought
So-
maybe you just there long enough just to get a free Frisco burger and get on your way.
I didn't know that they were a thing back then. I don't know.
They
if
might
were.
not have been, yeah.
They might not have been. All right, so we're gonna get to a few more comments, then we'll get back into some Packers talk over here.
I will never go back to Arby's, Iowa, Joe.
Kevin says, does anyone know of any popular East Coast chain restaurants not in Wisconsin that we can get in New York City?
Popular East Coast chain restaurants. There is one. What is it? When I was in North Carolina, it's a chicken. B. It starts with a B. Bojangles. It's it's like a chicken restaurant that it's not in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can get it in New York City though. That I don't know. Bojangles.
Yeah, now you just screwed that question up, Ben. I'm going to New York.
Are you?
Yeah, no. Next, I'm going to the Giants game.
Okay, I want to hear about this because you've never been on a plane before, right?
No, I've never been on a plane. I've never really left Wisconsin, and then like I'm watching all these like my friend Kevin. I'm going with him, and he's sending me a lot of TikToks. Well, he's sending me the good TikToks that like people having fun, yay! But whenever I look on like you go start scrolling Twitter, and it's like New York videos, like they're all crazy because that's the worst of the worst. But I'm excited to go because we're gonna be there for. I don't know how many days, but it's gonna be multiple days. It's not just for the game. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna see Central Park and it's funny because someone was asking me like, "What do you know about Central Park?" I was like, "Well, I know a lot of Law and Order shows start there."
Right? That's all I think of when I think of New York is like Law and Order, SVU, just like all the
just
scenes.
a foot hanging out of a bush in Central Park. That's the thing. Like because I was talking to Aaron Nagler about it, and like he was saying that like. Everyone like outside that's never been to New York has like this negative thought of New York. I don't think like New York is a bad place.
No,
but
it's just
when you're from
city,
Wisconsin, right? Like even like Milwaukee's a big city to me.
Yeah.
Like even like visiting Milwaukee, that's great. It's like I remember one time I was driving Milwaukee and I was in a wrong lane to turn because I'm not used to the streets or whatever. And this lady was just like she rolled her window down and she didn't even she actually rolled it down. Like it was an older car. And she just unleashed on me and started swearing at me and yelling and telling me I'm an idiot. And I was like, I know. And just tell me what way to go. How do I get out of this situation?
It's just
I'm stopping traffic.
It's just that it's like that Tim Robinson sketch where the guy's yelling at him in the car. Have you seen Tim Robinson? He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. What? Get going. I don't know what I'm doing.
He's like, just drive. He's like, I don't know how.
Yeah. That's pretty much you in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's kind of. Luckily, I'm not going to be driving anywhere. I'm gonna make Kevin do all the work, and obviously we're going to fly to New York.
Well, I doubt you're going to be driving at all.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, even though the Milwaukee, I hate driving. Whenever I go to Milwaukee for a Bucks game, I'll invite someone, but I'll be like, hey, here's the thing, you got to drive.
Yeah, driving through Milwaukee or driving around there is not too bad. It's
not horrible. I would rather someone else did it. I would just rather.
No, that's fair. I think
my phone.
Anxiety overload though, being around that many people. That's for sure. Because
because I'm not used to it. I live in a town with 4,000 people. Yeah. I live 40 minutes or so from Lambeau Field. That's close enough for me.
Make sure you get some really good slices of pizza, like Sbarro, Sbarro, man.
Yeah, I want a real New York pizza slice,
piss off all the New Yorkers.
Yeah, dude, that'd be funny. I should do because I want to do some pizza reviews while I'm there and just food in general because they have so much food, Italian food, and they have all type. Obviously, besides pizza, that is just I feel like we don't in Wisconsin. We probably don't even know what real pizza is. Like when you go to these big cities, I'm not. I'll ask you because you're the Green Bay guy, right? You're the food connoisseur in Green Bay. Who has the best pizza?
Hold on. Are you hearing my son knock on the ground at all?
No.
Okay, good. Because it's loud. It sounds like someone's knocking, pounding through the. Just making sure no one's hearing that. But, so I've been to Italy. Humble.
You've been to Italy?
Yeah, I went on my honeymoon. Don't you remember that 2 years ago?
I don't remember.
I sent you a snap from there every single day. So, but I went to Italy. I had pizza.
I might have been drunk that week.
I'll
celebrate with you.
Yeah, you were at the wedding. So I went to Italy and I had pizza there. Incredible pizza. But I've had great pizza like that in America as well. So it's not like I don't know. I know New York people love to gatekeep the hell out of their pizza. They love to act like nowhere. I posted something. Was it when it might have been when I was in Italy? I posted a picture of my pizza, and someone, I think when I got back, I can't remember I'm pretty sure I posted a picture and someone was like trying to gatekeep it to New York pizza. I'm like, I'm literally in the birthplace of pizza.
Yeah.
You're going to try to tell me, that like, this isn't real pizza. It's just like, this is the birthplace of pizza. How are you going to say this isn't real pizza? But you were saying Green Bay for pizza. I love Rustique Pizzeria. You'll probably tell me that you've never been, but I'm pretty sure you have.
I think that's the place that Tiffany's talking about right here. Let's get this comment real quick. Tiffany says, "Wait, Matt, you gave me a great recommendation for pizza. It was outside of Green Bay, but holy crap, it was packed.
It was probably
to go order."
Rustique.
And then that was.
It's in like an old
and that
church.
Wasn't my recommendation. That was my wife.
Yeah,
I've been there.
It's an old church. You got to get there. Like, I'm going. If you want to see me in person, I'll be there Thursday for my birthday because that's where we go every year for our birthday.
Are they gonna sing "Happy Birthday" to you?
No one will know it's my birthday. We don't tell people.
Dude, what time are you gonna be there?
I have no idea.
I won't even be there. I'll call. But hey, there's gonna be a guy.
But what I was saying is, you got to get there early, man. Because like, if you don't get there like 4:30, 5 o'clock, you're waiting. And I got a 2-year-old now, and we don't have the ability to wait anymore. So it wouldn't surprise me if I'm eating dinner at about 2:30 at Rustique. But I love their pizza. You would love this. They have a macaroni and cheese pizza, which is called the Conquistador there. And it is phenomenal. But Rustique's not a like New York slice, but man, it's incredible wood fire pizza. That's for sure. Probably like my go-to. If I'm going and I'm like, I really want the best, my favorite pizza, it's Rustique for sure.
Yeah.
What's yours around Green Bay?
For pizza, I don't know. I don't really go out for pizza. Like, I like pizza.
Yeah.
And then that's probably the place that I probably only really. Does Green Bay have a lot of pizza joints? I don't know if they have like.
I mean, they got like Sammy's, pizza, which is solid, but Sammy's is thin crust. They have a lot. They have.
Dude, I like Domino's. You know what I mean? I do. I think Domino's.
We get
unnecessary hate.
I mean, we get Domino's and toppers every Friday. Like we'll rotate back and forth in this household. So last week we got toppers. Last week we got Domino's. So tomorrow's probably a toppers Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we please do. But yeah, dude, I'm with you. I love Domino's. I love toppers. Those are good spots.
Yeah, my favorite spot right now to eat at all is at 888.
Dude, 888's a solid place. That's a lot of cheese are really good. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's Dairy Month though. It's Dairy Month.
I think every month's Dairy Month in Wisconsin. Have you ever been to Luigi's Pizza Palace outside of Green Bay?
Yeah.
Luigi's
not for many years. They have those big, huge pizzas.
Yeah,
right?
Dude, they got like the football-shaped big pizzas, and you get like a bucket of beer nuggets that are just a huge bucket of bread nugget things that come with marinara sauce for like $5. That's a good spot.
I haven't been there in years, but I remember my friend's dad, he'd go pick up pizza and I'd go with him. He had this, this old trashy truck, like, only a front seat, and it would be this long pizza because like feeding all the kids, and then it would sit on his lap all the way across to the passenger seat on my lap, and it was like the size of the truck,
dude. Yeah, those things are. That's a great place too. That's a
massive pizza.
There's so many pizza places. Cranky Pat's and Gallagher's, Glass Nickel and Riverside. Jake's Pizza. I don't know if you've ever been there. I went there and theirs is really weird because their pizza sauce tastes like chili. Like they add chili powder to it, so it tastes like chili.
See.
I didn't like that.
They do that to mess sometimes. I don't like that either.
Yeah, I'm not going back on that one. So
no, that's from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
he used to put chili powder in it. He's like,
no, sure.
That joke didn't land.
Yep, sure it is. No, that's fine, man. That's cool.
Well, so what are your thoughts before we bounce off pizza? Pineapple on pizza. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm cool with pineapple on pizza.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah. What?
I don't think pineapple should be on anything.
Well, you don't like a Hawaiian pizza?
No.
You don't like pineapple at all?
No. I don't think I've ever had it, but I just look at it and I just know that ain't for me. I used to cut it up. I used to be a prep cook. You know what I mean?
there's plenty of food that I can understand not liking. Pineapple is just it's just sweet. It just adds a nice sweetness to the pizza. I'm cool with pineapple on it. Um, if
I
you've
don't
never
know.
even
I
had
think you're the
pineapple,
only person I talk to. That
oh
I
no,
didn't.
people love to hate on pineapple on pizza because it's like Nickelback. They're just like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
it's just
bad.
trendy.
Yeah,
It
it's
being
trendy.
edgy.
It's like hating on Arby's right now. It's trendy to hate on
Oh, I
Arby's
know,
right
dude.
now. But dude,
It's
Arby's
funny
is
because people
delicious.
hate on Arby's, but I love Arby's, so I'll
See?
go there.
See, now
And
you're
there's
part,
always a line.
yeah, now you're part of the crew hating on pineapple, even though you've never
Oh
had
no,
pineapple.
no. First of all, my wife always said this, but you don't know until you try it. Like I know. I can look at it. My body says, "Hey, don't put that in us."
If you've never even had pineapple, how do you know?
Because I can tell by looking at it.
Dude, I don't know. Dude, pineapple
I used
with
to
some
cut it up.
Canadian bacon, sign me up. I'm good on that.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I might have to drop you.
That's fine. I'll log out.
Okay. Phil says, "Give me some Rocky Rococo."
Yeah, I don't mess
No
with
to-
Rocky Rococo.
I don't think are they still out and about. This turned into like a pizza podcast.
Yeah, they are. My wife loves Rocky Rococo, and we always have to go to the mall in Appleton. If we're in
You
Appleton,
go
we
to
go.
the mall in Appleton just to get pizza. Or like
No,
when you're out
like
and
if
about,
we're in
though?
Appleton, we'll go
like
to
that.
the mall, just go to the food court so she can get Rocky Rococo and I can get something else because she loves
Oh,
Rocky
yeah.
Rococo, and I'm not a fan of it.
I don't remember. I probably as a kid I had it because I used to be out and about everywhere, but I don't really see them out anymore. But yeah, I think
I see some comments backing me on the pineapple on pizza. I see my guy Ben, fellow Ben, pineapple on pizza all day, every day. See?
But yeah, shout out to Tiffany. She said she's leaving. We're ignoring Ben right now. Thanks for jumping on over here, Tiffany. And I don't see it. Those comments. Okay, we got one over here. I see pineapple on pizza all day, every day. I don't like weird stuff. Like even macaroni and cheese. Like you go to like Max, they got great place over by Lambeau Field. Max macaroni and cheese for people who don't know. They have so many different options of different I like basic macaroni and cheese. I don't like things change. Like I don't drink cherry Coke. Just give me the old fashioned Coke. You don't got to change it. You got it right the first time. Actually, the second time
you don't like variety in your life?
No, I don't. I don't like variety. Like I drink Pabst Light. I drink Coors Light. Maybe some Spotted Cow.
I mean, I see you
off.
drinking Pabst Light. Why aren't you just drinking regular Pabst? Why you got to do the light?
Because I'm a pansy. No,
no. I know you're not watching your calories, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. 96 calories, you know?
I know you're not watching your calories. We just talked
about
about
then by the end of the night,
milk.
I drank about 14, 16 of these things. I'm doing math. How many calories was that? I'm asking ChatGPT. She's like, use your calculator, idiot. But
it's good that you're using like the resources in this world for to ask an AI language model how many calories are in something when you just calculate it.
Yeah, like how many Pabst Light will it take for me to black out? And she's like, you're kind of weak, so probably about 4. But so let's get to a few more of these comments. It's beer, Rolling Rock. It's Pennsylvania beer. You would love it.
I don't know what Rolling Rock beer is.
I know what it is. I never had it. Blue Moon. That's a beer everyone likes. I had Blue Moon one time. It's good, but I had a situation, so I've never went back to it. But I know a lot of people love it. My brother-in-law, he's a big fan of it. Let's get to some more of these. Deep dish Chicago style.
Back.
Original New York style, thin crust, Detroit. I don't know about Chicago style. I just think I'm always anti-Chicago anyway. But I'm not even trying to be. I've had Chicago style one time, and I don't know. That's when it's like, or is that Detroit when it's like so saucy? It's so
no. Detroit's the square. Like Jets Pizza in Green Bay, solid for Detroit style.
I think Detroit style. I think it's Chicago style. One time I had it where I wasn't a fan.
Chicago's like covered in sauce on the top.
Yeah, I think that
cheese is underneath and the sauce is on top. I'm a New York slice guy myself.
I've never had a New York slice, but
I like the New York style pizza though.
Yeah, the New York
big
style,
floppy.
Yeah.
It's like I joked about it earlier, but Sbarro's is like the big big floppy, big triangle pizza. That's like the New York pizza. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, there we go.
When I went to North Carolina, I got their New York. There's a pizza place there from New York, and I was there for like a week on a work trip, and I went there 3 days while I was there. I'm a big fan.
You like food?
I do. I think.
so do I.
Yeah, I was
Obviously.
gonna say I think most people like food.
I know, but like you're like a food connoisseur.
I mean, it was on the company card, man. I'm gonna go out and spend it. You know,
yeah, you gotta
it's not
spend
my
all that
money.
money.
It's not my money.
All right, so let's go back to some football stuff.
I got this all sidetracked by asking you.
Dude, this is a pizza podcast.
Yeah.
That's fine. Anyways, what's going on in the world? Anyways, I mean, football wise.
Yeah, Jenny, good to see
You
Jenny.
mean a situation, man? I do. But all right. So let me ask you this. I saw a list. So that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. I saw a list of like top quarterbacks. This was like, first of all, lists are like stupid to me because I've made it some with like ChatGPT and I put some lists out. People got mad and they're like yelling at me. Like, I didn't even make the list. It's ChatGPT. Well, that's why I did it through ChatGPT because I didn't want to, I'm biased. So I was like, any lists. Anyways, but lists do numbers on, they get good engagement because people like to argue. And then whenever you see like CBS on sports and CBS on NFL or whatever, ESPN, whatever channel, they always have one person on the list that doesn't belong, or like they put them way out of whack. So they
but on purpose, for sure.
Yeah, and people just don't see it. Like but it's funny because I did the same thing because I saw a list earlier and they're like they had Jordan Love at like number 7. Everyone's like, "Oh, Jordan Love doesn't belong in this list," and I was like, "Actually, he should be top 5." So I was like about to hammer out a comment. I was like, "Dude, I'm just buying into it because like that's what they want." And not that I'm against commenting because that's what the man wants, but it's just dumb because then you get into arguments. People jump in and they start yelling at you about how wrong you are. And I don't know. The older I get, I just don't care to argue.
I'm with you there.
Like with people because like, but anyways, but where do you think Jordan Love? Do you think Jordan Love right now as it stands? Obviously, I believe, and I think probably you do too. This year, healthy Jordan Love. I think he's gonna earn some respect this year. Like I think he's gonna do some stuff this year. But where do you rank Jordan Love right now? Do you got him in the top 10?
Let's see here. Pat Mahomes, you have there. Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson. These are in no particular order.
Yeah, you got Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. I don't have the list up in front of me, so I'm kind of just going by division.
Yeah, I don't know. The one I was talking about, I don't think I have it saved. I should have saved it.
I mean, I think he's top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I
think the tough part is the sample size we have is so small, right? You had last year where he was injured. He played through injury, but you're still having a leg injury and a groin injury that's a lingering issue. That impacts your ability a lot. We saw him down the stretch his year 1, 2023. He looked incredible. So it's what quarterback do you get out of Love? Do you have that 2023 stretch quarterback where things were starting to click, or is it more last year's quarterback? That's where it could get tough because if you're going based off of like last year's quarterback, maybe they're saying more towards the 10 spot. I don't know, but I think the end of 2023, you're probably looking at closer to that 5 spot, maybe 6, 7. You know,
and
yeah,
I think that's where he is because people talk about last year. Like he was hurt last year. Like and he got hurt when he started to get better, and he got hurt again. And that's the thing. Like with Jair Alexander, everyone was talking about. Oh, he didn't play. He didn't want to play. He was hurt, but they said he was healthy and he didn't want to play. And he's soft and he did this and that. And then Jordan Love plays. He's hurt. He plays. And then people are like, oh, he sucks. This guy is mid and this and that. It's like, well, he's playing hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why players maybe don't want to play hurt. Not that I think they care what some fans thinks, He works at Cheese Factory. They're not really dialed in on like what our opinion is. But like when they play hurt and that they don't play up to your expectations, people trash him. But I think that Jordan Love with the injury last year and he was still in the mix. He obviously had some misses. He had some things you could tell, especially early on, that he couldn't wasn't real mobile. But I expect Jordan Love healthy this year. And this wide receiver group with all the drops last year, they're going to be, I feel like ticked off. They're going to be want to try to prove themselves because that's what everyone's talking about. Drops. Can you this whole offseason, all these guys got to be anytime they look at Twitter or whatever, I'm not sure that they do a lot, but and people are just all the drops. And I think it took on a life of its own. Because I don't know how many drops they had, the numbers, but everyone acts like they dropped 45 passes last year.
I think they did lead.
I think they did.
Top the league in drops. If it wasn't top, it was top 2 or top 3.
And
You,
that's
you
the
must
thing with
see a lot
Jordan Love.
more. You must see a lot more of it because in the off season, man, I post stuff on social media and I dip out. I don't even. I come back and I like make sure I like your stuff and check that out. Same with Lambo Leo and a couple other people. But other than that, I disappear off social media in the off season. So I
Yeah,
feel like I'm in the
it's
dark.
not a
there.
bad idea. Like you go on Twitter, you think the world's ending. Anyways, I don't want
I
to get
mean,
into that.
that's everything on Twitter though.
All right, so I want to get to this list by Stacey Wood because we're talking about
Yeah, I saw he
the.
dropped that.
So we go Mahomes, Allen,
Burrow,
Burrow,
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, Hurts, Daniels, Nix, Herbert, Goff, Stafford, Purdy. Yeah, see,
Well, I
I
mean,
disagree.
you could
But
even
like
put Rodgers
I
in
like
that
that.
list too, because Rodgers is still.
Yeah,
Rodgers is still a bad man.
Yeah, I don't agree with that list, but that's a beautiful thing about lists. I'm not gonna like tell you you're wrong because I have a different opinion, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know if Stacey
Purdy,
was
I'm
giving us his
not.
top
Maybe I'm a
10.
hater though. Maybe I'm a hater. I'm not really high on Purdy.
I
Although I do
just
like the
took it
name.
as Stacey was helping us out with some of the top.
Oh,
quarterbacks, but
maybe that's I
maybe
don't know.
that's his list because I was just kind of going through and trying to name some of the top.
Yeah.
Because those are some of the top guys for sure in the NFL.
Oh yeah,
Those
for
are the
sure.
guys
Like,
that you're competing around the Love spot.
yeah.
So would you put Love? I'd probably put. It's tough because we have such a small sample size with Love,
And we're so
That's-
biased.
Yeah, that's true. That's true,
Dude. I wouldn't. No, I'll say right here, right now. I'll put. I think Love is let's say is and like going to be because my projection of what I think this Packers offense is gonna do this year. I put him above Purdy. I think Stafford. He's getting a little bit older, but you got to give him his respect. Goff. Not impressed. The Lions. Screw him. Herbert is like a guy who like I think expectations are high. I'm not sure. Like I see a lot of people trashing Herbert. I actually like Herbert, but I think that he didn't meet everyone's expectations. But Daniels is the young guy. Hurts is a guy that like isn't getting the respect, but he won a Super Bowl and he's good. When he first came out, like I was not impressed with Hurts. Like I wasn't a hater of him or anything, but I just didn't think he was that special. But then he developed, obviously.
he just wins.
Prove me wrong.
I just asked the AI. I said, hey, heading into 2025, who are the top 10 quarterbacks in your opinion as an AI model? They said Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence.
See, lose me with Dak Prescott.
Trevor Lawrence, and then Jordan Love.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's so they're Trevor Lawrence at 9.
I don't know if it's AI isn't always right.
Trevor Lawrence says flashes brilliance, but inconsistent and injured slowed his ascent. The tools are all there, and 2025 may be a make or break season for elite status.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I was maybe rocking through 5 for sure. I don't know that I'd necessarily put them in those orders, but I don't know how you can. You have the reigning MVP at number 2 on the list. Like, I understand Mahomes is Mahomes, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Even when it was Rodgers, when Rodgers was doing his thing in Green Bay, peaking, when he wasn't winning the MVPs, he was still ranked like the top. Even if Mahomes came out and he won a Super Bowl and they were doing his thing, that respect, and Mahomes deserves that respect now. Where I think people are still going to rank him 1, even when he didn't. I'm assuming he didn't. I mean, but even what he did last year, I don't even know his numbers, but people are down him a little bit. But they were still in the Super Bowl. So, like,
dude, I
think Mahomes is fun to watch.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to make it to the Super Bowl at all. So I'm not hating on Mahomes at all. I think the reigning MVP.
I actually like Mahomes. He's got a squeaky voice, but he's all right with me.
Well, then it's odd that Lamar Jackson was like arguably the MVP last year, and they put him 4 on the list. But Joe Burrow is phenomenal too. So I don't hate their top 4 by any means.
It's hard with that top 4, top 5 any year. It's gonna be hard. But yeah, I love Lamar Jackson. I like watching him play. I think he's good. He's not just a running quarterback.
This is gonna be off topic a little bit, but the flag football for the Olympics is now they voted that they can have NFL players. What do you think that lineup's going to look like? Do you think Lamar is going to be quarterback?
Yeah, he should be. I think Lamar, like Patrick Mahomes, those type of guys that can move, because in
Yeah.
flag football, I used to play flag
I think
football. You know
they have
what I
a
mean?
free rusher on
So
flag football, right? It's just like,
I'm not sure the official professional rules. I used to play back in 6th grade. I don't want to brag,
I
but
mean,
if
that's pretty
anyone's
much
looking for a coach,
you
you know,
might be able to make the Olympic team, man.
dude, I remember that there was this girl who like they used to cheat and they'd wrap that flag, they'd wrap it around a belt, right? So when you
Okay.
pulled on it, when this girl did that and someone ran and jumped and grabbed a flag and her pants fell down,
Well,
and
I bet she shouldn't do it again.
yeah, she switched schools after that. No, I don't remember, but like I remember like just everyone's like, ah, even the parents were laughing. I was like,
Well,
oh,
yeah, you can't be
needs
cheating.
counseling.
Yeah, you
Oh
can't
yeah,
be
you cheat and you get caught up. Next thing you know, your pants are down. But I think Jordan Love would be a good flag football. I think you need someone. Not Jordan Love isn't known for his running. He's not like
Yeah.
he's not Lamar Jackson. He's more of a throwing quarterback, but he can get out of stuff when he needs to. But I think number one, I think it would have to be Patrick Mahomes because he's Lamar Jackson's kind of a bigger guy, but he can make some dudes miss for sure. Obviously,
I think
but,
you got to go Lamar just for the escapability because
yeah.
you're not going to have an offensive line. You got to have someone who's that dual threat quarterback, and Lamar is just so quick on his feet.
Yeah, and he's so like deceiving. Like when
Mhm.
he's running and he's like looking to throw, like, and he's just kind of rolling out, and like he's running slow, and then at anything he just boom turns it on, and he just runs around, and the pass rush is just trying to keep him, at bay, and then he turns it on, and then he's just going. And if he gets into trouble where it's flag football, so you can't hit. But if he needs, like in real football, like he can, he's a big dude where he can, light a
I
wood down.
I just picture like this poor sap from like Norway trying to contain Lamar Jackson, like this
Yeah.
this guy that's just
Do
not
you think?
built. You're not built for that life, just
Do you
trying
think
to
the
track him down.
players? You think all? I mean, I know some players are going to want to, but do you think that they're going to want to play flag football? And I know that the flag football people, they're mad. They do not like this.
Yeah, they don't
They're
like
like,
it at all.
this ain't the same. You can't come in here. It's like, dude, calm down. Like if
I
you were
I
that
think
good, you'd be.
I
in
think
the league.
players will because of the fact that you win an Olympic gold medal is a pretty cool
Oh
thing to
yeah,
have on your resume, right? You see
yeah.
NBA players creating the dream team and just dominating in the Olympics and how much pride you still talk about the dream team from like the 90s basketball, right? Jordan
Yeah.
on this dream team with all these guys just putting work in the Olympics and just dominating teams. I think you're going to see like
Tyreek
this
Hill.
yeah, Tyreek Hill, right? You're gonna see this squad. Like imagine Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill on a flag football team with Lamar Jackson and I'm trying to think who's maybe the best tight end in the game right now.
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft. Sure, we'll say him.
He will
Well,
be at the end of the season.
oh yeah, no, I believe in that for sure. But like, just you picture all of these guys that are just like, just the best of the best of the best, going in and playing guys that are probably really good, but not NFL level.
Yeah, they're not the best of the best.
And to be the best in NFL level is a next level of best. So you just go in there and you see these guys dropping like 80 points on this football team that's maybe putting up like 6. I don't know how it works, but
Yeah, and I want to get to this comment of Iowa Joe. He says, I'm willing to bet teams will start putting wording in contracts, not letting their star players play in the Olympics.
I think
I will say, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the NFL owners voted on it to allow them to do
Yeah.
it. So I think they're on board with it as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why I don't agree with Iowa Joe, which is rare. Maybe not. But I think it's good for the NFL. So I don't even think the NFL would allow them to do that. Like they want them to talk about, Patrick Mahomes, this guy and that guy, they're Olympic champions, and I think it brings positivity to the NFL. I don't think they're going to get hurt. It's flag football. They do more dangerous stuff like that in the offseason.
Well, and that's what they do for the Pro Bowl now.
Yeah, it's basically what the Pro Bowl was. Yeah,
but if you think about it, the NFL is trying to go global. Whether football fans want that or not, the NFL is trying to go global. So by putting that in the Olympics and having the best of the best in the Olympics, it's spreading the NFL love. And before you know it, you'll see maybe a division open up in Europe or a division open up somewhere else.
I think that's coming.
He
says all it takes is one injury about that, but I still don't think I don't think that it's good for the NFL.
I mean,
They want that worldwide attention. They
these people
strive
could
for
get
it.
injured driving in their car, like injuries can
And they
happen.
play flag football.
Yeah.
Most players play some kind of touch football in their backyard with their family. They're at a barbecue,
Yeah.
whatever. They're doing stuff. They're skydiving. They're riding motorcycles.
If anything, I would
Sanders
think,
just got busted doing like 100 miles
yeah,
an
I
hour
saw
on the
it, I
highway.
saw it. If anything, I think maybe doing it more might help limit injuries because you're keeping those ligaments fresh and you're working them, and you're
That's
not
what
like,
I do.
yeah, right. I've seen your cone drills, man. That's why you're so
Dude, that's
spry.
what I got my whole backyard, just cones everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I see.
I mean,
you,
my wife thinks they're garbage cans, but they're not. They're cones. All right, so this is going right here. Stace said, "I bet in 2030 we have 2 teams outside the country," and I definitely think that's coming.
Yeah,
And let's talk about that. Like I think that they're gonna. I think that what I think would happen is that they'll have like a division, like a Europe division or whatever country, because they're gonna want those teams to play each other, right? So there's not as much traveling. If you have 2 teams, let's say, I don't know, Germany, Brazil, or some of the places that they play, then I'm not a geographer, but I don't know how close
I was gonna
they
say
are.
because Brazil's South America and you're going Germany.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm
Europe,
saying, but like they play all over the place, so
Yeah.
they'd want them close.
Yeah.
Excuse me, because they're not gonna want you have 2 teams over there, and now they're traveling nonstop to America. Like that.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That team sucks
Yeah.
because they're gonna be flying so much. I think it'd be a pain. That's what teams only do it once here. So I would think that they would want a division over there, or at least something. I don't know. I think it'd be hard to do, but they're gonna do it.
yeah,
They want to be worldwide. I think it's hard. I don't know. I think it's weird. A lot of people don't like it, but
Well,
you don't gotta go.
So the NFL is a business. I work for a business. You work for a business. Businesses want to make more money. That's ultimately the end game. And the NFL wants to make more money. And at a certain point, you need to expand outside your market to make more money because you're
Yeah.
going to hit caps. And I do think though, if they open up and go to Europe, I think they're going to have a hard time getting free agents because
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a family in the United States, you can kind of manage that. But now if you're like, oh, I got to go play for Germany, I got to go play for the Berlin, whatever, it's harder to make that happen because on a bye week, you can't just go back home for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. You wouldn't, because you could bring your family with you, but like now you're not going to see your mom or your uncle
Or having
that
them
you
travel
like.
to games the same way is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
And
Dude, a lot of guys.
the other thing I thought about too is from a tax perspective, that gets really hairy because you're going to have to pay taxes in this country and you have to pay American taxes. Like that makes
Yeah,
it
and
a
that's
little
kind of
bit
how
more
the NFL
dicey.
works, though, is that they have to pay taxes in every city that they play in.
Right. Yeah, the state taxes for all these.
I didn't
different
know that. I
things.
think Tom Crabtree's one that told me like, on my podcast way back
Yeah.
when. I had no idea. So like,
Yeah,
if they
because
play
you're
the
making income
Dolphins,
in all of these these
Yeah.
states.
that's
Well, now if
crazy.
you work in these other countries, you're having to claim that. I mean, they have good tax guys. They know what they're doing with it, so it's probably
Yeah.
a pretty normal thing for them. But that was like logistically, that's kind of the 2 first thoughts I had is free agents and landing free agents, and then the financial side of things like taxes and how all that
Yeah.
works.
I think free agents would be rough, like you said.
But you could have the
can't
flip
imagine.
side of people who that appeals to because they like traveling a lot and the idea
Yeah.
of living in
Or
another country
people-
for a short period.
I think after, if the NFL is in Europe or wherever it is, those kids in those places probably already happening where they're starting to play football more.
Yeah.
Maybe they have more youth football. I don't know if how that works over there.
Yep.
If they have youth football camps like they do here. So if they they can start making their own players too. So like they got.
Yeah, where they'll get.
I
more
mean, not like
confidence.
every great player comes from America. Like there's players from other places, but
Yep.
mostly, obviously. But yeah, NFL Europe, dude. NFL Europe used to be great. Iowa Joe's talked about that. But I mean, you're kind of young. But back in the day, like in the off season, you could just watch NFL Europe,
Yeah.
and it would be like this team, and then you didn't know who they were, but you're like, oh, that guy's wearing a Packer helmet because they were smart about it, and they had him wear the real helmet
Yeah.
of the team that they
Well,
were
it was,
from.
it was
'Ause-
like the guys on the bubble a lot, right?
yeah, it was like the
that
guys who
were-
needed extra training. It's like it was like summer school, which I know a lot about that. Like, yo, you didn't, you weren't up to par this season, so we're gonna have you go to summer school and then the chance to get better and like do it. But like some guys that popped off over there. So
Yeah, because I think Marco Rivera was one of them that was on team. Don't quote me on that. I'm looking him up right now.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was on
remember.
he was on the Scottish Claymores.
There you go. Shout out to Scottish Claymore. Yeah, the
That was part of
NFL
the
Europe
world.
was
That
awesome.
was okay. Later renamed NFL Europe. It was originally the World League of American Football, which went to NFL Europe. But yeah, he won the Super Bowl and then went over and played for the Scottish Claymores for the 1997 season.
Stacy said NFL Europe sucked. I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't like watching it like all invested in like.
No, but it scratches that
like,
itch of like.
oh
football,
yeah, like
right?
you're sitting around Saturday, football's on. All right, I'll watch. I watch football right now. I wish I had NFL Europe going on right now. Tell me, Stacy, if NFL Europe was going on right now, you had some like good football. You'd
be watching, especially if it was a.
I mean, you're not like gonna call in sick or nothing, like the cancel plans, but like if you're there, it's on. You'll watch it.
But what if it had players that maybe you really enjoyed from your team playing in these other ones, right? We talked about Marco Rivera, which he was an offensive lineman for us. That was pretty good. Not that maybe he was getting enough eyeballs, but I know Stacy was a big Tunyon fan. What if Tunyon was playing in NFL?
Yeah,
Europe?
or
You'd
like
watch
Wicks.
it. You'd be like, oh, cool.
Like
I'm a big fan of this guy, so I'm gonna watch how he does in NFL Europe.
Yeah, I think it's good. So let's get to this comment. Players also don't like clearing border customs in other countries, just as Blue Jays and Raptors players. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a whole other thing too. I
feel like that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I went through customs when I came back,
and I assume the team is helping too. But obviously, he knows something.
Well, they have their VIP customs too, right? They don't have to wait in custom. I had to wait like 2.5 hours, 3 hours in O'Hare.
Dude, don't they know who you are?
I tried telling them, and they tased me.
Bro, I have a podcast. Don't you?
I have nearly 7 listeners.
Yeah, last week 14 people listened to it, and I'm gonna let them all know what's going on over here.
That's probably why it was. They know I'm a Packers guy, and I was in O'Hare, and they said, "Get out of here." That was discrimination.
Yeah, Iowa Joe said they could use NFL Europe as minor league system. That's basically what it was before.
Yeah,
it was like they sent them over. It wasn't really minor league, but it was kind of like. I think there was guys that weren't in the NFL that made it, kind of like XFL. They're kind of trying to do. I don't know if the XFL is even happening anymore. Like
I think it's like the USFL now or USL, or something like that. They merged.
Yeah, with all they merged.
Yeah,
I'd watch it. I never know when it's on, but yeah. All right, big shout out to everyone who's tuning in over here. Joshua, go Pack, go! I think we're gonna wrap this thing up. We're over. We got 1:12, but everyone. Ben, the Green Bay guy, has a podcast. You probably know about it, but if you don't, it's called what's it?
What's it called?
You changed the name. It was Green Bay Narrative. Now
what's it called? What's it called, man?
Tundra Talk.
Tales from the Tundra.
Tales from the Tundra. There you go. I forget my own podcast. That's why I named it the Matt Ramage Show.
I gotta be honest. When I'm recording because I'll record like the intros for the episodes. I've definitely had a lot of outtakes where I'm like getting to that point and I just stumble over what the name of the podcast is. So you're not alone on that at all.
Yeah, it's a good podcast. You talk to a lot of great Packer fans. Let me ask you this: give us one great story that someone told you on your podcast. Like for people who don't know, you interview a lot of different Packer fans. A lot of them have cool stories.
Yeah,
and just kind of tell you what's what. But like, what's one story that sticks out to you?
I mean, there's just so many. I've had so many fun people on there and just talking and sharing their stories that it's hard to like really think of one. I had Paul Kaufman on not long ago, Packers Hall of Fame tight end, and the amount of stories that he shared were just the best, man. Just so funny. He's such a good storyteller. When I think of like actual fan stories, I don't even think about like the Tales from the Tundra style. I think from way back in the Green Bay Narrative days where I had Roy Mellemans on, who stole Lombardi's hat at the ice bowl.
I had him too.
Yeah, you talked to him as well, and Lombardi took a swing at him, and I think he had his story so dialed in that it was just so fun to hear his story. But man, I think that's the coolest part about that podcast. There's a lot of hard things with that podcast, but the coolest part about that podcast is everyone has such a unique path and journey to fandom that it's so fun getting to hear that story and that path. If I'm thinking about Tales from the Tundra, I think probably the biggest one is like Peter from Denmark, which you've talked to Peter. But because his story is so unique on how he became a fan, is he was working in America as a company or for a company when he was a young kid. He's from Denmark, the country, and they're just like, hey, you got to go to a Packers game. And so he got there. He got to his seats like 3 minutes before kickoff, watched the game, and came back. And then on Monday they said, well, how was the game? How was the game? And they're like, yeah, it's cool. We got there, just as kickoff started, and everyone was offended. They're like, you did what? No, we're going again, and we're doing it right. And they're like, we're picking you up at 6:30. He's like, the game doesn't start until noon. We're picking you up at 6:30. We're doing it right. And so then they tailgated, they did barbecue, and he's like, okay, I get it. I love this. So I thought that was just a funny story because if you don't know, that's what you do. So it's just fun hearing stories. It's fun capturing these things, and I'm fortunate I get to do that.
I think you do a great job talking to all different types of fans. I remember when you had the Green Bay narrative, Don Beebe was one of my favorite episodes really that you did. I would like to talk to him. And I thought it was funny because, you obviously a big time Bills player back in the day. And he didn't know about the jumping through the tables. Like that was the one thing I remember.
Yeah, he had no idea. And he said I was the only person that did not ask him about the was it Ronnie Lett or whatever, Leon Lett or whatever.
That big play
the Super Bowl thing where he sprinted back and knocked the ball out of his hands. He said he was so happy that I was like the only person that never asked him about that because I think he's probably so sick of talking about that.
No, he was probably like, you call yourself a freaking podcast, dude.
I don't know. He was pretty relieved that I didn't ask him about that. So
yeah, he's a legend. I'll have my podcast one day and it'll be the first question. And I'll present it as like Sophia from the Golden Girls. Picture it, 1990 whatever year it was.
He's hyping it up.
Ronnie Lott's running down the field,
and he's just palm in his hand, just hating it.
All you see is his hand go up to shut the laptop.
He was super nice, man. I still have his voicemail saved on my phone from when he called me to leave me a voicemail. He's like, hey Ben, this is Don Beebe. Just wanted to return your message. Yep, I'll be on your podcast. And it's just so funny. They just called me out of the blue. Yeah. I didn't answer because I was like, I don't know who the hell's calling me. I'm not answering this.
Yeah, I remember one time Preston Smith called me when I was at the Packer game, and he was like, yeah, I see you're down here, and my uncle's coming up, so you want to hang out with him and like let him join your group or whatever, and so that he can see what it's like down here.
Oh God.
And then I was like, all right, I'll show him some stuff I was having a bad. But he never met up with me. He must have found better people or whatever. But yeah, it is weird because like obviously Preston Smith doesn't call me all the time.
Right. Well, and you had Preston.
So I was talking to people. I was like, that's Preston Smith. People looked at my phone like, is that Preston Smith? I gotta take this.
It is always a little weird. Till you realize that they just have a normal job like us. Their job's a little cooler than ours.
Yeah, let's talk about that because you've had Don Beebe, you've had a few players on. Dude, that's one thing I've noticed from having people like Kenny Clark and like some of the players that I was able to have on is like they're just regular people.
Yeah,
like, they're all so nice. I had one player, like a foreign player, that I wasn't real thrilled with. I won't say his name because I don't want to be that dude. But they're all so yeah, but they're all so nice. They're like Preston, haha. Like they when I was doing that cleat videos with haha Clinton Dix, like he knew that if he posted the video first on his account, because back then you couldn't collaborate with people. He knew that if he posted the video first and tagged me, that it would benefit me more. And then later on, like the next day, I would post it on my page because he wanted to help me. He wanted me to benefit from it. He's just always so cool. And say all of them. Kenny Clark is like the nicest guy. Like when you see Kenny Clark like on the field going, doing his little thing. I think we got it right over here. Bobblehead over here, but he's so nice. We talked to him. He's like the most quietest, like real calm. Like it's hard to like sometimes get stuff out of him. You have to like
you got to really pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think he's just not and he doesn't know you, you know. I mean, obviously,
you're not his boy, and
you're not his friend. You know what I mean?
So well, and you're on a recorded thing.
You just start asking him like stuff about like real serious stuff. Like, obviously, wouldn't do that, but they don't know. That's why I think that when podcasters ask players to come on, like I always tell people, like, how do you get players to come on? I was like, just DM them or email them, however you're gonna contact them. But I always say I'm not the media. I'm not gonna ask you any stupid questions. It's a fan thing. I'm gonna ask you like, how'd you get into football?
That in your message? I'm not gonna ask any stupid questions.
Oh yeah, I do. I have a thing where I don't like copy paste it, but that's basically what I say always is that I'm a fan. Just want to talk to you, but like how a fan would talk. I'm not gonna ask you like with drama and like try to like
I was gonna say I ask stupid questions without me.
I ask dumb questions, but like not those type of dumb questions. Like I've like especially early on when I first started, I would ask every player. I would DM every player. Come on my podcast, and they would be like a rookie, like Kingsley Kiki. I always talk about that. I had him on my podcast. Horrible, the worst podcast I ever did. Not because of him, and I didn't trashing him at all. He was really nice, but like I wasn't prepared. I really didn't know him.
Yeah.
So I'm Googling him a little bit. You know what college you went to wasn't enough. Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing. I learned from it though.
That's the stuff you learn along the way. You know, when I had Dwan Harris on, I feel like I didn't do nearly enough research on Dwan to have him on my show, and he was so cool and so nice, and it was a good conversation, but I was just not prepared. And those are the things that teach you though, that you fall on your face a few times. You're like, okay, I gotta be a little bit better about this.
Dude, Tim Boyle was on my podcast and I froze halfway through. And it's funny because I froze and like I literally couldn't think of anything to say for like 40 seconds. And I'm just like, and then I said to him,
and he's like, is this thing still on?
And I was like, I'm really sorry. I was like, I don't know what happened. I have a brain fart, you know, and I was so nervous. Like, very early on, we were on speakerphone, like the way I was doing it was, and then and I was like, do you have any ideas? I literally said that to him. And he was like, and he starts thinking to help me out. And then I was like, oh no, I got it. And then my brain was just like, all right, we back. We just took a little commercial break. And then I finished the podcast because it was like, you know, early on. It wasn't like, if it was later, I'd have been like, I just wrapped it up. But then afterwards, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, that never happened. And, you know, reminds me of my wedding night.
Yeah. I swear this never happens.
And I was like, you know, I appreciate it. I was like, let's just never talk about this. And he kind of laughed. He was cool about it. He was super, super cool about it. And then it was funny because I was like, we'll never talk about this. I'll edit it. No one knew the edited version. You can't tell. And then every podcast after that, we would talk about players I've had on. I always mention that story. Because I don't care. At the time, I was devastated. I felt like an idiot. And I was like, it was horrible. But now it's like, dude, you screw up. That's why I like live. Because you can't freeze. It's just like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad, right? Live can scare a lot of people. You know,
I usually don't have players on live because I always worry about the comment section.
Yeah, people
think they're edgy, and then I don't want Kenny Clark or whoever player might be on, and then like some Bears fan in the comment section just screaming out stuff, and then they see it. It just that's why I usually don't have them do live stuff.
Well, and I just think it's better to say, hey, it's pre-recorded, so we can always edit anything out that you want.
Yeah, if I ask you
something you don't feel comfortable answering, that's what I tell all of my guests. Like, hey, it's pre-recorded. If there's something that you say that you want to edit out after the fact, or
you never told me that.
Oh, it's because I'm trying to get a PR thing. Matt Ramage hates kids?
Yeah.
You know,
did he just say he kicked a cat?
I wanted to start some good PR controversy there, get my name in the media, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they didn't really care. Yeah, dude. I remember I made a joke one time about kicking my dog, and like people like it was like on the audio, and people were like on Twitter like, oh, you whatever, and they're like giving me, not a lot of people, but there's a few people. I don't have that many people watching listening, but I was like, no, it was a joke, dude. I like my dog. My dog sleeps in my bed. Like my dog sleeps right next to me every single night. But yeah, I did kick him. No, I'm just kidding. I don't kick animals. But my cats hang up by your feet. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're gonna step on them and kick them on accident. You know, never.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's an option of stepping on the cat or kicking the cat, which one you want me to do?
Dude, I used to not like
don't dodge the question, man. I'll clip it.
I've kicked a lot of cats because they're right by your feet, but I used to.
That's gonna be clipped.
Yeah, clip it.
That'll be one of the quotes. The images.
That's how I get people talking. But like, I mean, you get those big dogs, and then you sit there and you like pat them really hard, and they love it. You know, you're just like, you're not like full on hitting them, but you like pat their sides, like you pat it really hard.
No.
And some of those dogs are all about that and think it's the greatest. You know, it's not like
dogs like to get kicked every now and again.
You're just having fun with it. My wife hits me all the time. You know, I don't see the outrage for that. I shouldn't joke about that, actually.
No, you should, and she should hit you more. But no, someone wanted me. Before we wrap this up, because we're only an hour and a half here. When we were at the draft, I don't know if we talked on a podcast since the draft.
No, I don't think so.
But,
I did a live.
Yeah, I think I was on yours.
No, I did a live by myself. Oh
yeah,
I know what you're gonna ask. I think.
Yeah. When you ran up on me, because someone in the comment section asked.
Yeah,
there's no way they're still watching or listening.
My boy Tully. Yeah.
But yeah, so you run up on. I'm talking to Russ Nicolay, who's like obviously a big sponsor and a good guy. We're having a conversation.
In hindsight, I'm like, man, I just because I had never met Russell yet at that point, and he sponsors me as well, and I'm like, boy, that was probably a really like piss poor first impression.
I know
I run up and I interrupt whatever you guys are talking about just to like make a bit out of it.
No, it was weird because like I was talking to him and someone ran up and like I didn't recognize you first of all, which is weird because you had a beard, you know, and I really don't. I see you, but like we don't see face to face all the time. So you didn't really, and I didn't really look at you very closely because I was talking to him. So I saw someone run up and I didn't think it was like some fan who was like so excited to see me. I thought it was someone who I knew that was screwing with me, but I didn't know who it was.
Right.
But I wasn't gonna just like turn my back on him and like, hey, anyways,
right.
Guy who sponsors my podcast.
Well, I had sunglasses on and I had
it was hard. And I didn't really recognize you. I think I recognized your wife first.
Well, you weren't even looking at me. You were paying attention to what he was saying. Yeah. And I just sprinted up on you with my phone out. And I was like, oh my God, Matt Ramage. I need a picture, Matt Ramage. And I think one, you're like kind of startled, just like, dude, I'm having a conversation here. That's why
it was like at first I was like, what's going on? But I really my initial thought was I know this person. It's a friend, they're screwing around. Yeah. But I also wasn't gonna be mean to Russ.
But I love that I saw your wife and she's like, oh, how's your baby? And I was like, oh, he's right there. And she didn't even like say another thing to me. She just turned around and went right to Mason.
Yeah, she asked about your child every day. I think more than she asked about her own children.
Oh, your kids are old and grown.
Yeah, you know? no one cares about them anymore. But yeah, that was fun. I went over by Russ. I just wanted to get a bunch of free stuff. They were giving away all types of free stuff for the draft.
Dude, their new water that's coming out. I was a big fan of that. I'm gonna try to get some sent to me because I like the canned water. I'm drinking.
Yeah, they
right
sent
now.
me some. I guess
Hollywood. I must be on the backlog for it.
No, because I hit him up like, yo, where that water at, bro? We be thirsty over here.
Yeah, I told him like, hey, I'm in the Hudson area all the time. I can swing by and get some cases of it. I think they're ordering it like more now because when I just talked to them, but I am gonna get some. Yeah, I need some.
You'll buy some.
I will buy some because I mean I drink. That's all I drink is like water. I mean this is liquid death.
Yeah,
all I drink is water. So
there's water in it. Perhaps light.
it's practically water, right? But so I'd like to drink.
Now you sound like a beer snob.
Yeah, I don't like beer.
But I forgot what else. There was one other thing I wanted to ask you, but it's
about
gone.
The draft.
No.
Okay.
But so all right, that's not a real comment. I was gonna say
that looks like
that's a bot from Twitch. But anyways, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Be sure to check out Tales from the Tundra, right? What's it called?
Yeah.
Is it Tales from the Tundra?
Yeah, you got it.
Well, why are you laughing? I got it right.
Because you said it like you were reading it in the third grade.
Yeah, I was like getting slow and like my brain was trying to remember. All right, so Iowa Joe, one last comment before we head out of this thing. Fellers, I will be in the Bay of Green in August. We got to meet up, most definitely. That's one thing.
I'll be here.
Training camp's coming up. They have the dates over there on the Packer socials. I posted it on my Facebook, the link. but obviously you're gonna be at training camp a little bit.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah. I'm gonna take my little man down, and he's all about football. He's gonna be 2 next month.
Yeah.
So one of the days,
Dude, just
training
wait.
camp-
Like
Dude,
once he gets older, dude, because I had my nephew at training camp. Me and my brother-in-law, a couple of people were hanging out, and my nephew was young back then.
Yeah.
And he just graduated. Shout out to Jacob. But
yeah, dude, Jacob. I see him at festival all the time.
Yeah.
Not
So
the docs where he works. Sorry. About
Honor
that,
really
Jacob.
just called him out.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jacob.
He'll be walking around festival. Where's Jacob at? But he Oren Burks was coming down with the bikes, and Oren Burks looked at me and he said, "Hey, what's up, Matt?" And I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Whatever. But Jacob looked at me and he was like, "They know who you are." And he was like, after that, he was like, "This guy's awesome." I used to tell my brother-in-law all the time, like, dude, he likes me way more than he likes you.
Dude,
it's cool though. Training camp's a blast.
My son now is in this point where he says "Go Pack Go" constantly on everything. Like "Go Pack Go." It'll be at night. We'll be putting him to sleep, and we'll lay him down, and we'll come downstairs, and we have a video monitor, and you'll be watching him, and he'll be laying there, and he'll be rolling around. And he'll be going, "Go Pack Go!"
That's
And
awesome.
he's just like yelling it, like as he's like laying in his crib playing with his animals. "Go Pack Go!" And you're just like, dude, yes, let's go, kid. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked. If we drive by Lambeau Field and he sees it out the window, he yells like Packers or football. He's hyped about football. So
that's awesome.
Family night will be there, and we'll be at training camp.
Yeah, I'll be there. I might even go to family night this year, just because
it's a good time, man. You
content.
Should. Yeah, you should.
I'm gonna start doing like some interviews with some fans, get other people's opinions on stuff, and you know what I mean? Anyways, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We're well over. Your wife's probably like, "Where you at?"
Yeah, she's probably watching like the whatever show she's watching, whatever show she likes.
When I have Jimmy on, a lot. He's on vacation. That's why I asked you.
Oh, I'm the backup. That makes me feel good.
I always think about that because he's got young kids and he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go. My wife's gonna," or he's like sleeping out in the tent with his kid, and he's like, Jimmy. I'll say Jimmy's a great dad.
Yeah, well, his kids are older. Where Mason's 2, so he goes to bed at like 8 o'clock. So
yeah, his are. I don't know exact ages, but I don't want to blast.
Mason's in bed
families.
right now. Yeah, so my wife's probably just watching some show she watches. I don't know. So
he's like, I don't pay attention.
I don't.
My wife just got done watching The West Wing.
I'm not familiar.
It's like the 90s like political show. It's like fake, obviously, but it's a sitcom or whatever. But anyways, it's Charlie Sheen's dad's in that. He's the president. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it. This seems like a conversation maybe not meant for podcasts. Hey, I appreciate everyone who listened. Be sure subscribe on YouTube, and also Ben, what's your YouTube? Are you the Green Bay guy?
I'm just the Green Bay guy and everywhere.
Yeah, the Green Bay guy on YouTube. Obviously, me first, and then if you got time, head over to him.
Bandwidth. I mean, you're a better person to follow and subscribe to, anyways. So.
No, you're not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
But and also the podcast and audio. If you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or watching it wherever, head over to the podcast, subscribe. Even if you're never going to listen, just
leave a review. Leave them a
leave a
review.
Unless you think it sucks, then don't leave the review.
Then
I don't need that
review.
Yeah, this guy sucks. But he told me to leave a review.
Hit the 5 stars.
Yeah,
even if you want to trash them, just hit the 5 stars first.
Yeah. Then hit the 5 stars first. Say the podcast is awesome, and then listen to it. That's how reviews work.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're gonna bounce out of this thing. Appreciate you, Ben, jumping on here. And look at this. I'm trying to do a slick right now. Look at that. No, we graphic. Now we got the music going, and then boom, there we go. Oh, let's start again.
I was gonna say I didn't hear you.
Welcome to the Ramage Show. Midwest vibes, set your spirit flow. Package pie, hit it in.
Tuning in. Go Pack Go, and the Bears still suck.